Hey guys, it's Kugli again with another ROM review, and this time I've got another Ressurection remix ROM for the Oneplus 3, but this time it's not any Ressurection remix, it is the Sultan-ized version of Ressurection remix ROM for the Oneplus 3, so stay tuned for that. So guys, the Sultan-ized version ROMs, there has been quite a few ROMs like this one. Well, if you are not familiar with what Sultan-ized ROMs are, you might be familiar with the Sultan-XDA's Lineage OS ROM, which is amazing. It has great battery life, not a lot of features, but it is a very good daily driver. It has amazing battery life, probably the best on-screen battery life which I have seen out of any ROMs yet, so I really like that one. It does work out really well. So this concept of it is that you take that battery life and the camera performance, because Sultan's Lineage OS was one of the first custom ROMs with comparable camera performance to Oxygen OS. So that camera performance and the battery life and the stability of that Sultan Lineage OS ROM to the features of Ressurection Remix. I mean, there's no denying that Ressurection Remix is the feature king of these ROMs, so that is the thing. Let's get started now. First of all, what you can see here is in the settings menu, you can see it is going to be the typical Ressurection Remix layout. If you are familiar with how Ressurection Remix works, you should be pretty familiar with whatever you get from it. So in the About Phone page, you can see RROS is the OnePlus 3 for that. It is Ressurection Remix, all that. July security patches, Sultan's kernel is included, so that is the main thing. The kernel is the secret sauce of this ROM, and you get that. RAM is this one, SLA status is enforcing because that is there. Now, as with the Sultan's Lineage OS ROM, it does not come with root, at least not for the applications. It does come with root for ADB only. You will have to flash your own root manager. I have flashed Magisk. It works beautifully. I really like that. Let's get to the features now. I have already made tons of feature comparison of Ressurection Remix. All those features are still here, so you get everything, clock customization, all of that is still here. I'm not going to go through all of them again because it gets old. It gets old pretty fast, and it is right now the most feature-rich ROM. There are a few differences between each and every Ressurection Remix ROM, like Sultan-ized ROM has Delta, Open Delta, Zenity version has EAS, and it does have its own certain applications and also HAL switcher and all that. So there are going to be slight differences. This one is more the official Ressurection Remix, so all the features you get there are still here. So let's get to the grading. Features, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 because it is the most feature you are going to get on this one. I might even have given it a 9. There is something called the Sultan-ized version with Open Delta and a few more extra settings in the tile layout section, and I think that does adjust this one out. So 8 out of 10 for features. One of the things which is supposed to make this a better ROM, the battery life. I will say the battery life is better than the normal Ressurection Remix ROM, but it's not anywhere near the Sultan's Lineage OS ROM. Sultan's Lineage OS ROM, you can get easily 5 hours, 5.5 hours of screen on time. That is one of the biggest thing about that ROM. This one not so much. I mean, everything does work out, but still you can see there are a lot of awakes even without screen on times and all that. There are wake locks, there are stuff which is going on in the background, and the fact that this is an underclocked ROM, this does limit your underclock ROM. You can see the idle drain. Right now it is showing 9% per hour, which is too much. Normally, in normal use case scenarios, overnight it is at about a 2.4% per hour, and I've already mentioned this. I don't get the best range or signal where I live, and I mean it's about 2.1. It's not the best battery life, but I did expect more. It didn't really deliver that, but 2.1% per hour for idle on a ROM that is this feature rich, I can live with that. So I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 for battery life. Now comes the performance aspect of this ROM. I've already told you guys this is a underclocked ROM. If you see here, I'm going to get EX kernel, and you can see it is at 1478 right now. That is the big cluster is limited at 1824, and the little cluster is limited at 1478. So it is a little bit underclocked, and that does work out really well. For the most part, the performance hasn't been hampered too much with this. The Antutu benchmark score which I received was about 136,000. It was somewhere in that range, which is, I mean, last ROM which I tested was Phoenix AEX, and this was better than that. I mean, that was not underclocked. Performance is pretty comparable to any other Ressurection Remix ROM, so nothing special going on here, but it is better than normal ROM. So I'm gonna get a 6 out of 10. Stability. Stability is going to be a factor when you cram up this much features into one single ROM. So there is going to be differences with that. I'm gonna say, for the amount of features, the stability has not been affected too much. Everything works. I didn't have any issues with it. Proximity sensor, all that works. There hasn't been any issues. Some applications just not work sometimes, like Quick Share did not work for me 1 or 2 times out of the 100 times which I've tried. Yeah, these are stuff which you have to be prepared to deal with when you're dealing with a ROM which has this many features running in the background, causing issues with other stuff going on. But for the most part, it has been a really stable ROM. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 for that. Another big thing about the Sultan-ized ROM is the camera, and I'm pretty happy to say that camera is really amazing. I really like the camera on this one. It does not have that huge problem with most of the lineage based ROMs or most of the other ROMs where it just doesn't take a good photo. It does take a good photo. It does have a lot of detail in it, and I just really like it. It does not have an awful lot of noise. It just works. Not the best. I still like Zenity's camera setup more, but this is probably the better camera setup which I've seen on the Ressurection Remix scene. So I really like the camera on this one. So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 because camera is bitchin'. I really like it. So yeah, another thing which I wanted to talk about is that this is a low light photography with flash, and you can see everything is really highlighted. There's no problems which I can see with these pictures. I really like how this turned out to be. So yeah, this is one thing. Ressurection Remix is not really a camera based ROM, but you can use this as a daily camera if you really want to. I really like that. So yeah, camera, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 because this is one of the better implementation of camera which I've seen on a Ressurection Remix ROM. I really like it. Now comes the aesthetics. As I've already said, I mean, Ressurection Remix has always had substratum support. This is no different. So yeah, substratum works. I really like it. As you can see, I am using a custom font which I selected over in substratum. This is from Pitch Black. I'm really a fan of that. I have been running that theme for some time now. I just wanted to show you guys how this one looked without that, but I still kept the font because, well, this is much clearer font than the stock one, so I really like that. So yeah, aesthetically, it does have substratum, but nothing much. That's not a bad thing, but it's nothing special either, so I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 for aesthetics. Now comes the overall experience. For me personally, it has been a really good ROM. I really like it. Yes, the battery life has a little bit more kinks in it, but I am prepared to give it away. I don't really mind that. Stability, yes, there are going to be issues, and I accept that fact, but for the features and the performance, I'll take this ROM every single day because this is a really great ROM. For the overall experience, I give it an 8 out of 10 because this is one of the better experience which I get with this phone on this ROM, so I really like it. So I'm not going to bother with the boot animation because it is the Ressurection Remix boot animation. If you've ever seen Ressurection Remix boot animation previously, that's the same thing with the 3 prongs and doing that stuff, so nothing special going on. So yeah, I guess that should be it about the ROM. The overall score, I'm gonna give it a 6.7. It does math out to 6.71 or something. 6.7 is what I'm gonna give this ROM. It works good. It works really well. It is a feature-rich ROM. It is reasonably battery friendly. It does have enough performance to get you through the raid. It is smooth even after the underclocking of the cores. It's really smooth. You don't ever feel this lagging up. That's amazing. The camera is cool. The camera is one of the better camera implementation, as I've already said, which you get on a Ressurection Remix ROM. Aesthetically, well, you have substratum. You can customize it to whatever you want. You have that, and yeah, it just works on a whole different level. I really like that. So I guess that much is it about the ROM then. Hope you guys like the video. Please share, subscribe and like the video if you found it useful. See you guys next time. Bye.